Good evening, everybody. Again, my name is Jennifer Cholik. I'm one of the counselors here at Lansdowne High School, and welcome. I'm going to go over the types of colleges. I apologize for moving away. Four-year colleges, there's private and there's public. So the private colleges are not state-funded, but they are a little bit more expensive. However, and most private colleges will offer you quite a lot of scholarship money to attend for state schools, public schools, which are more affordable for most families. The U.S. Military Academy, so there's the U.S. Naval Academy, West Point, the Air Force Academy, Colorado. So those, if you're a senior and that's your goal is to apply to go to one of the academies, you've already started that process, hopefully, because you should start your junior year. If you're a junior or in a lower grade level, you're interested in going, that's your goal, now is the time to start looking at what you need to do, and your junior year for sure is when you need to start applying. Two-year colleges, so a lot of our students here at Lansdowne go right across the street to Tidewater Community College, and it's a great way to start. It's affordable. You can transfer, you go anywhere from TCC, that's their motto. So, and then vocational and technical colleges. So there's quite a few vocational and technical colleges around this area. Centera offers some programs, CPI, the non-traditional colleges. Factors to consider in choosing a college: size. So do you want to go to a college with 20,000 plus students like Virginia Tech, or maybe like Virginia State University? It's about the size of Lansdowne High School with just a couple thousand students. Location is an important factor. Do you want to live in a rural area? Do you want to live more in an urban area? A school like VCU is right in the middle of Richmond. You're amongst downtown Richmond, where, again, like at Virginia Tech, you're out in Blacksburg. What type of people go to school? Is it a diverse school? Is it a historically black university college where, of course, most of the students there are going to be one demographic of people? So you want to try to look and see, do college visits, what type of people are going to be the school you're applying to. Academics, of course that's the reason why you're going to college in the first place is academics. So do they have the major, the programs that you want to go to? If you plan on continuing and getting a master's degree, is that something you can do all at one school, or are you going to have to do a four-year school and then move on to a different university to get your master's? Social opportunities. Again, what is campus life like? Are students really involved? Is it a school where most students live on campus, or a commuter college like Old Dominion or George Mason? And then costs. That's the big one, right? Well, it costs a lot of money to go to college. So if your family can afford it, are you able to receive grants? Are you going to put the work into getting the scholarships that you need? Okay, so starting with resources, it can be a very daunting and overwhelming task to figure out, where am I going to go? Where am I going to apply to? How do I know what's available there? So Big Future is through College Board, and this is a website that you definitely want to, you should have it hopefully in the packet that was handed out to you. But this website is going to be your one-stop shop for almost everything. College Board runs the SAT, the PSAT, all the AP exams, and you can do a college search. And I've helped students navigate through the website and look through different, you can minimize your search, you can put in your test scores, you can see where you would qualify to go to, different majors, location, type of school, how you're going to pay for it. But bigfuture.collegeboard.org is definitely going to be a site that if you have an account and you've only logged in once or twice, definitely go back to it and really get into it, getting to know a lot about that website and all that it has to offer, because it's a free resource for you to apply for college.
Good evening. All right, college admission reps visits. Every high school in Virginia Beach hosts this throughout from September, usually around to December, and usually that's for your juniors and seniors. Also, sometimes in the spring, sophomores and juniors are invited to some college reps visits as well, because the schools, the colleges want to visit the younger students to get them started really thinking about where they want to go. And during those visits, you can ask very specific questions to those college representatives. So in order to find those, most of the time you just go to your guidance department and it's usually a list. Also, they can look on the website under resources, and they can also listen to the announcements every morning or read the scrolling announcements depending on which school your student is in, and find those college visits. All right, the annual college night is October the 24th at the Virginia Beach Convention Center from 5:30 to 8. Usually every school in Virginia is there, and schools across the nation actually attend this. So if you have schools that you're interested in attending that's out of the state or that's not near you, you have an opportunity to meet with those college representatives. Last, campus visits. We always encourage students in their junior year to visit different schools. And usually the best time to visit those schools during spring break. Most of the schools know, especially in Virginia, they know when your spring break starts, so they have different open houses and things for the juniors to visit. Also, if you are a senior now, they have open houses now in the fall that you can visit, so you just have to get on their website and see what's available. But we have that information in the building as well, so they can see their counselor.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Ricky Haley, school counselor here at Lansdowne. And my part of the presentation, we're going to talk about the college application admissions process. And when we get to this, they're kind of like two words that will describe this process for the parents and more so with the students. And we want to be stressless compared to being stressful, because during this whole process, it can become a stressful situation if your student and if you haven't assisted them in preparing for this process of applying to colleges and universities. Now, a lot of students and parents say, okay, we're going off to a four-year college or a community college, and what are the colleges looking for? A lot of students and parents say, okay, we got to get the GPA up. Yes, the GPA is one of the components that colleges and universities will pay a great deal of attention to. Now, although your student may have a 3.8 GPA, a lot of colleges and universities will recalculate that GPA, meaning they're going to take out the health and PEA. They may take out the A in art, because they're receiving students from all over the country, and all over the country there are different grading scales. So they may want to just look and reevaluate every student, looking basically at the core courses, your English, your math, your science, your social studies, and your academic electives. You have academic electives, and you also have fun electives. So as your student is starting to prepare with their school counselor and planning their four-year high school program, you want to be looking at the type of courses and electives that they are choosing. So it's hard to see, but you should have this printout in your packet. But the grades in college prep classes is a very important component that they're going to look at. What they want to look at and say, how much and how did your student challenge themselves? They know that in Virginia Beach City Public Schools, we take foreign languages to the AP level. Now, did your student know that, and they know that for 3 years of a foreign language, you can get the advanced studies diploma. So if your student got an A in Spanish 1, an A in Spanish 2, an A in Spanish 3, and then they just stopped, and they're going to say, oh, stopped at level 3 with an A average, why didn't they go to 4, 5, or AP? Was this student basically just saying, I'm just going to take the minimum requirements to get this diploma? Yes, sir.
It's
Okay. It's not in the handout. The PowerPoint will be posted on the VB school website, okay? Now, also, they're looking at grades in all courses. They're also looking at the strength of the curriculum. They're looking at the school system. Virginia Beach is one of the top school systems in the country, and we offer many, many AP courses, academies we have dual enrollment, so they know that a student coming from the city of Virginia Beach has an outstanding educational background. They're also going to be looking at, I can barely see that myself, I know you all can see it. Some students may have to write an essay. So, so now, this right here is the stress part or the stressful or the stressless part. So they're looking at the essay, they're looking at extracurricular activities. A lot of students are involved in many school activities. Now, are they looking for quality or quantity? A lot of students will say, I'm gonna join 15 clubs in high school. And I'm gonna go to one meeting, I'm gonna put it on my resume and say that I was a member of the French club. But that's quantity. Quality is that they see that you have been a member of the French club for 4 years, and you moved in from a member to treasurer to vice president. You coordinated some type of event that helped the school or helped the community. That's quality. So they would rather see you be in 4 or 5 quality organizations than 15 quantity. So college can know the little games that students play, and they say, okay, the students in 15 clubs, we don't know what they did on those clubs. So they're also looking at the SAT and the ACT scores. And there's a floating scale that they can use. So a student will say, there's no need in me applying to this university because my GPA is not at the level that they are requiring or recommending. But if the SAT is above what they are requiring or recommending, or your essay gives them information about you that shows that what trials and tribulations you may have gone through, that you may have had a childhood or something happened in your family, and you had a job, you had to work, and things of that nature. They say, okay, this student has done all these things and has survived. I can see why the grades aren't as high as they could possibly be. So that's where the essay, where the student would be able to give them a little information, inside information about themselves compared to just what's on a piece of paper. Now, in the English classes in the senior year, most of the English classes, they're doing some type of essay right now because a lot of the applications will ask for an essay. So now the English teachers are starting to review the students' essays, critiquing them, sending them back, saying, okay, you need to do this, you need to do this. So when you send your essay off to a college or university, it's going to be grammatically correct, and it's going to be hitting the points that are going to be targeted and looked for by the universities. If you're looking at art schools or things of that nature, you may have to have a portfolio. You may have to have an audition. There are some universities, especially your highly competitive universities, they may require you to have an interview. So you need to be working with your child on how to present themselves face-to-face during an interview. Now, all these things, your school counselors in all 11 high schools are certified, qualified, bona fide, all of that to help this child or you to prepare them for whatever they need to do in order for the college admissions process. Okay, the next slide, getting started. Stressful or stressless? Now, as freshmen, sophomores, and juniors, you could have a laundry list of colleges and universities that you are interested in applying to. But by the time you become a senior, there's no written rule, but we say maybe 5 schools. You should narrow it down. So between your freshman and junior year, you are investigating the schools of interest, seeing what they're looking for, what they're requiring, because they would tell you that you need to have 1 year beyond Algebra 2. So a student may not have planned to go on beyond Algebra 2, but when they see on their college profile that they want 1 year beyond Algebra 2, If you really want to go there, you know you got to go on beyond. If you don't, you probably have eliminated or decreased your chances of getting into that college or university. You may look at the college profile and it says that 3 years of foreign language is required, 4 years is recommended. There are some universities that they won't tell you because everything is balanced and one thing can outweigh another, but they really want you to have 4 years. But 3 years are going to be required. So again, if you're doing well in 1, 2, and 3, you might as well continue. So, 5 to 8 colleges, we say 1 is your dream school and 5 is a safe school. 2, 3, and 4, they're cool. I can deal with them. College application. College applications now basically gone online. Paper is kind of gone. They want everybody to do it online. And there's one application, it's a common application that students can use. There are over 500 colleges in the United States that will accept the common application. With the common application, you do it once, and you can send it to 500 schools. Now, there's no little catch to that. You got to pay for it. The application fee, not the application itself. So TCC, the application fee is free. Common application, you would do it one time, and you can send it to the schools, but you want to make sure that your school is one that receives the common application. HBCUs, they have a common application for them. Historically black colleges and universities, they have a $35 fee. Now, when we say 5 to 8 schools, let me tell you a story. The story is I had a student one year that applied to 53 schools. Okay, they spent about $3,000 in application fees. And that's when they were doing paper and pencil, so I had to do 53 counselor parts of it. And that's why my hand is still kind of, and that's been 20 years ago. Okay? But the rationale behind that was their family said we would rather spend, I'm not giving this as a suggestion or advice, please. Okay? They said we'll spend $2,000, $3,000 to see what the best deal or package we can receive. But I say all that to say, when you're investigating your colleges, either you're a strong candidate, you're a good candidate, or it's going to be borderline. If you got to pay $35, $40, $50, $60 for an application, then let me tell you another story. Had a student one year who wanted to apply to MIT. She came to me and I said, oh, wow. Being positive, being encouraging. I looked at her, I said, yo, you sure you want to do this? Yes. I said, you know I know what your GPA is, right? Yes. I said, you have a 1.8 GPA and you want to apply to MIT. It's going to cost you $60. I know. That was a dream school. That dream did not come true. So I say that to say, when you're investigating your colleges and universities, look at whether you're a strong candidate or a good candidate, and then, because of the application fees. Okay, I'm gonna try to go through this quickly because I know we got other people that want to speak, but I enjoy being with you all. Okay, application forms, like I say, most of them are online now. You can go to the college website, cnu.edu, VT, virginiatech.edu, and you click on freshman admissions, and you can see that application. You can create yourself an account, and you can start your application there. Application fees, we've talked about. High school transcripts, final transcripts. I think that's my next slide, so I'm not going to jump ahead too much. Your student needs to request transcripts. And at the semester, they need to request a semester transcript. And at the end of the year, the senior year, they need to request a final transcript. So they can come to the guidance department, the school counseling department, and they will we'll give them information, or you can call us and we can give you information on how to obtain the transcripts, have them sent away, or if they want a personal copy for themselves. Admission scores, Ms. Haley is going to talk about ACT and SAT. Letters of recommendation. As a senior, you should be seeing your teachers, whoever's writing you a letter of recommendation, and you want to give them an academic resume so they can start writing your letters of recommendation. Let me tell you another story. There was the students, stressful or stressless. The student that's stressful will come to me or a counselor or a teacher and say, will you write me a letter of recommendation? Sure, I'll be glad to. Can I have it by the end of the day? We've got a problem. I've had students come to me the day before we getting ready to get out for winter break. My family's at home waiting on me to get in the car and go on the trip, and they have a deadline. That's January the 1st. And you know, we're not in school on January the 1st. They are stressed. So that's the organizational part of it, where you want to prepare and have everything lined up so you can have everything in order. Letters of recommendation, we've talked about essays, we've talked about auditions and portfolios, we've talked about interviews. Okay, so I kind of jumped all over the place. E-transcripts. This is the third year that Virginia Beach City Public Schools has gone to electronic transcripts. We use this company called Parchment, and with Parchment, the student would go on to the Parchment account, create themselves an account, and majority of the transcripts in schools and organizations with schools, it will not cost them anything to have the transcript sent. They will go and create themselves an account, then they will go through all the steps, and they will list the schools and universities that they want their transcripts sent to. That Parchment will email the school counseling department, and then we will review it, look at it, upload their high school transcript, hit submit, and immediately the universities have received their transcripts electronically instead of in the past where we put it in an envelope with a stamp and hope the snail mail didn't get lost in Georgia somewhere. Okay, types of admissions, deferred admissions, early decision, early action, rolling admissions, and open admissions. A lot of students, by November the 1st, you have to do, if you want to do early decision or early action, your deadline is November the 1st. Early decision means that that's your dream school, and you're telling that university that if you accept me, I'm coming. And you would know by mid-December whether they're going to accept you or not. And no matter what happens in January through June, another university may offer you a full scholarship. But if you've done early decision, you're telling them that I'm coming. Early action, you can only apply to one school for early decision. Early action, you can apply to as many as you want, and then you can make your decision. This right here is where the stressless comes in. You've gotten everything out by November the 1st. Now you're just waiting on them to notify you, compared to you rushing and trying to get something in. Rolling admissions, they just keep reevaluating until they meet the number that they are allowed to admit. Ms. Cholik said, Virginia Tech had between 20 and 30,000, around 30,000 applications, about 7,000 openings. So once if they don't get that 7,000, they'll go back and evaluate. Open admissions, you can just apply at any time, basically. You can apply if you graduate. There aren't many schools on the open admissions program. Okay, and that's me.
When you talked about the e-transcripts, will they show or how will a senior find out their class standing? My son's had a difficult time with that, and all the colleges are asking. He has his GPA and everything else, SAT scores, but not a class standing. They're all asking.
Great question. The question is, class rank. You can get the transcript right now, and it has the GPA through the completion of the 11th grade year. But as of today, it's not showing the class rank. Virginia Beach City Public Schools, downtown, technology, they are going to run the class rank for all 11 high schools end of September.
September 29th.
September the 29th. So you can let the universities or the scholarships or the reps know that Virginia Beach, not Lansdowne High School doesn't have it, or Cox High School doesn't have it. They know that no one in Virginia Beach City Public Schools, or you can let them know that no one in Virginia Beach City Public Schools will have a class rank until September 29th. At that time, when they rank it, that's when the individual schools are going to upload again the senior transcripts, and then you can request it, and then when we send out the next electronic one, the class rank will be on. Yes, sir.
You said November 1st is the deadline for
Early decisions.
What is the deadline for?
Well, that's with the individual schools. Some schools have a January 1st, some schools have a January 15th, some have a February 1st. I will be here, and all of us, I'll be here at the end of the program, and us as well. Y'all don't kill me. But I'll be able to answer questions later.
I'm just gonna give you a little bit of information about SAT and ACT. Let me ask in here, who is 9th through 11th grade? Quite a lot of you. Okay, so probably more underclassmen than seniors. Okay, so just put on your calendar right now, parents, that our PSAT is going to be given in Virginia Beach on Wednesday, October 11th. So PSAT is coming up for your student. So by the time your child is a senior, they should have taken 3 practice SATs at their school for free, which is great. So SAT, I think I'm just going to talk a little bit about the difference between the SAT and ACT for you. I just wanted to give you a heads up about PSAT. So SAT has changed over the years a little bit. The test is now 3 hours long. The essay is optional. So do me a favor, and when you're checking for your schools, look and see if the essay is something that they require or if they recommend that, okay?
You said the PSAT is given in October. Does all of the juniors take it? Or do they have?
All of the freshmen, sophomores, juniors can take the PSAT for free on October 11th at their schools.
Would they have to register for it?
They do not have to register, it's actually mandatory. So every single underclassman in Virginia Beach should be at school on October 11th taking the PSAT. I know by the time they get to junior year, especially if some of them have already taken a regular SAT, they might be a little over the PSAT, but we're definitely administering that to every single student in Virginia Beach. So that's coming up. SAT, so you see we have multiple choice sections. This is going to cover your math, your English. I think there's a reading and writing section and a math section on SAT, and then of course, like I said, the essay is optional. When you register for SAT and ACT, both registrations are completed online. We can assist with that, but we don't register kids. So you can just Google, it's through College Board for SAT, but if you just Google SAT registration, it's going to pop right up for you. $46. If you want the essay, it's a little extra. If you qualify for free and reduced lunch, please see your access counselor so that they can help you with fee waivers. If you qualify for that, then you're eligible to take the SAT twice for free. There's ACT waivers, and there's also college application waivers available for you. So please see your access counselor. This is offered 7 times a year. They bumped it up this year. For the first time ever, they offered the SAT in August. So I believe they eliminated the January date, but they moved it up in August so that you can get a jump start. So I don't know if any of you took advantage of that. But again, the next test I think it's usually the first weekend of every month. So there is an October test that I know it's too late to register for at this point. November, December, and then it kicks into the springtime testing. If you are going to TCC, the SAT is not required, but you certainly can take advantage of, take it now if you'd like to. Let me finish and then I'll answer any quick questions. ACT breakdown. ACT is a little bit different from SAT. So your student can certainly take both tests. We recommend taking SAT or ACT starting spring of junior year, so that if you need to retake the test, you have time to do so. A lot of math teachers in Virginia Beach schools recommend taking it when you're in Algebra 2 or Algebra 2 Trig. However, if you're a 9th grader, we would say to wait a little bit, because you're going to get some more experience, I guess, in the English realm that will assist you in getting a higher score.
ACT has a little bit, you can see there's also the science questions, which is different from the SAT. The ACT is usually a little bit more reflective of what you should have learned in high school versus maybe what you can do. So a little bit more objective questions. On the ACT, this test is a little bit longer, it costs a little bit more, and again, the essay is optional. So we have students who take both. We have students who take one or the other. There are some schools, too, that are becoming test optional. So if you do start looking at some of your schools and you see test optional, they may waive some of these entrance exams depending on GPA and other qualifications that your student may have. So if you see that, again, that's not every school, and we definitely recommend that you take these tests. But just know that that might be something that will pop up when you're looking at different colleges. So test reports. Virginia Beach Schools does include your SAT and ACT scores on your transcripts. So those scores will show up on your transcripts as well as the date that you took those tests. But be mindful that colleges are going to require you to send them an official score report. So us sending them a transcript that includes those scores is not going to satisfy them. They're going to want to have the official score report from College Board or from ACT. So you can request those score reports when you register for the test. So when you're online and registering, it's going to ask you what schools you would like that score report to be sent to. If you don't select schools at that time and you go back in and select it later, there's an additional fee. I want to say last year it was about $7 per school. Don't quote me on that for this year because I haven't looked at what that fee is. But definitely request that when you register if you know what schools you want those scores sent to.
Well, good evening. I was preparing for college. We talked about, college admissions and college applications, testing, and whatnot. But now we're talking about how we're going to pay for college. So just look at a breakdown of this pie chart. You look at college in 2016. Most of Americans pay for college. 34% pay for college with scholarships and grants. So that's actually free money they don't have to pay back once they complete their college or university or they decide. And then 29% was parent income and savings, so that's actually out of your pocket. So I guess when you started, when they ran kindergarten or whatnot. And then student borrowing, so that's actually your grandma, parents, and relatives or whatnot, church members or whatever in the community. Then you have the 12% of the student income. But when you look at it, grants and scholarships really should be higher because there's a lot out there, a lot of scholarships. So on the next slide, I just tell you kind of gearing up for what to do or how to prepare yourself, what you need for that scholarship. So you look at the academics, a lot of scholarships require at least a 3.0. If it's like a merit-based scholarship, it's based off your academics. And then some scholarships, some scholarships require at least a 2.5, but they will let you know in their requirements. Also, they look at the rigors of your course load. So you got to think, this scholarship is just not for Virginia Beach students, Norfolk students, or Virginia students. This scholarship can be available for 50 states, so you have thousands and thousands of applicants out there. So they do look at the rigors of your course load. It's the difference between a student with a 3.0 GPA and they had basically fluff courses, and it's a student with a 3.0 GPA and they had AP courses. Of course, that student showed that they were willing to accept that challenge. Also, your SAT scores, some scholarships require that you submit a SAT score, your official SAT score, so that will kind of weigh heavy on your scholarship opportunity. And then contributions to your school and community. So they look at, are you involved in your community? Are you involved in the school? Like Mr. Hayes stated earlier, are you just in the French club, or are you the president or treasurer in the French club? So they do want to see those leadership abilities and seeing if you're involved. Also in your community, they want to see how you're making a difference. You got to think a lot of scholarship money is donated money. So with that being said, it's somebody that gave back to their community, or they said, hey, I want to start this fund or scholarship for students who write left-handed and have a trouble time sitting in their desk, so they started a scholarship fund for them. So with that being said, that is something they are looking for when they're looking for the next applicant for that scholarship. So they want to see what sets you apart. So what are you doing for your community? Again, leadership abilities, they want to see your special honors, so like if it's on, dean's list or as a principal's list, honor roll, if receive any awards in athletics or in the club or whatnot. Then letters of recommendation. Mr. Haley kind of touched on a lot of things, so I'm just kind of filling in. But the letters of recommendation, that's something important too, because you want to make sure you give your recommender enough time, so at least we ask like 2 weeks or a little bit before the deadline. Evidence of the special talent. So that scholarship is more so if you're artistic. So if you're music, art, they might ask you to send a video in it. If you're actually playing violin or some type of artwork, they want to see your artwork. And then financial needs. Some scholarships are based on your financial needs. So I have some parents call me and ask me, well, is it okay if I send my W-2s or the tax information? Yes, because that is a financial need. And that's how they determine your financial need. I like to say sometimes if you qualify for a Pell Grant, you may be eligible for that financial need. And then the essay, of course, may be required. So I always tell students, play on your strengths. So if you know you're good at writing, apply for the scholarships that require a little bit more essays. If you're artistic, apply for the scholarships that require you to have a video or send some of your artwork in or what. Virginia Beach City Public Schools have an actual scholarship hub or website that we receive from the different local organizations and communities. And it's on actually every school website. So you go to Cox, First Colonial, Lansdowne. It's actually in the tab, so you click students or parents, and you scroll down and it says Scholarship Central, and it'll pull you right here to this page, and you just search the different scholarships and you kind of step from there.
My name is Adria Phillips, and I am with Access College Foundation, and we are blessed and lucky to be housed within the public schools. So we are in all Southampton Roads public high schools, as well as we serve some of the middle schools throughout Southampton Roads, and we just recently expanded 2 years ago to Northampton County on the Eastern Shore. We are a nonprofit organization. We help with fee waivers. So if you have free or reduced lunch, please keep applying to that, because a lot of seniors, sometimes they'll be like, well, I don't need lunch at school. But it helps with waiving those SATs, ACTs, college apps, as well as getting AP testing, which is expensive, discounted or waived. So we want to make sure your student is able to take advantage of those things all the way through. Access has been around since 1988, so we're going into our 30th year. I am in my 13th year. I am housed at PA High School, and then I oversee most of the Virginia Beach District team and staff. So I have been really lucky. We want to help your students succeed, just like Guidance does. We're great partners with them. We belong to some organizations that colleges also attend. So when your students get up to those higher levels, we're going to start in 7th and 8th, making them aware that college is possible. 9th and 10th, we do some workshops, classroom presentations, those types of things within our schools. And 11th and 12th, we really start getting into the nitty-gritty. So we want to make sure not only if your student is looking at any type of post-secondary education, that they are free to apply, that they can, kind of spread their wings, get that stress-less feeling, as Mr. Haley said, and help them kind of manage those things and move through it step by step. So we're an added resource along with the guidance counselors to help with college applications. We take college tours that are free for the students in their junior and senior years. We'll help register for SATs, as well as the Khan Academy is a great tool to study and practice for your SAT, which is on College Board website as well. And students will typically do 30 to 100 points better on their SAT using that Khan Academy tool. So I do suggest that as well. And then our biggest niche and the thing we really want to help you guys with is your student being able to afford to go to school. So searching for those scholarships, where do I go? What will fit me? And then the FAFSA form, that dreaded federal form, the free application for federal student aid. Many colleges now require that to be filled out, so we want to help you with that form. So we are just here to help all around with anything that has to do with college. Now, we're not going to step on their toes with changing schedules. We don't do that. And we don't have anything to do with what your GPA is right now, but what we want to do is work with what you have and help guide you and find the right fit, find where you'll be successful, and help you get there and then pay for it. Most of our offices are actually in the guidance suite at the majority of schools, but they can definitely tell you where we're located in the building if you just call into guidance and get you directed to the right location within the school. So we are looking forward to doing all of that. Financial aid terms, of course, we went through some of those. Grants, scholarships is free money. You don't have to pay those back. Loans, we're going to try to keep you guys away from loans, but everyone will be offered loans. That's just what it is. Doesn't mean that you have to accept them. Just by filing the FAFSA, it doesn't mean that you are locked into those things. You either have to accept it or decline it. So those are the three types of aid. You'll find grants that are given by the state and federal government, scholarships given by the college itself or outside sources that you can find on that Scholarship Central website and other websites as well. And then loans where the colleges will award, once you file the FAFSA form, will award loans and what types that your student is eligible to receive.
I'm going to briefly touch on community colleges, and this slide here just kind of shows that there are, many means to the end. Mrs. Kelsey Warren is our TCC career coach, and she serves a lot of the Virginia Beach City Public or high schools. She's not here this evening because she had a baby about 2 weeks ago. So I'm just going to fill in for her quickly just to mention about the community college option. So you can see, this has become a more popular option for a lot of families. It's a savings in terms of money. You can start at the community college where tuition is significantly lower than starting right at a four-year school, and then transfer after 2 years to a four-year college to get that bachelor's degree. So many students are choosing this option. It gives them a chance to kind of explore more what they want to study when they get to college, get some of those core classes out of the way, and then transfer. And the beauty of the community college system in Virginia, they have a guaranteed admissions agreement with a lot of the public schools in Virginia. So as long as your student is maintaining a certain GPA and academic standing, they would be guaranteed admissions to their college of choice, the public college in Virginia. If it's not Miss Warren, there is a TCC career coach in all of the Virginia Beach high schools. You can, again, contact the school counseling office to find out who that is. They're usually in the school about once a week to serve the students. They can help with applying to TCC as well as selecting classes and getting registered for classes, and then they just help students kind of ease that transition from high school into the next step. You can see a couple of the other things here. I mentioned applying for financial aid and military-related benefits as well. So we all kind of work together, the school counselors, the ACTIS advisors, and the TCC career coach. We are, your resources within the school to help you along with this process.
If your child has a desire to participate at the collegiate Division I or Division II in athletics, they must be registered with the NCAA Clearinghouse. The Clearinghouse verifies them as eligible to receive a scholarship. They are going to recalculate the GPA. For Division I, Division II, they're going to only calculate 16 core courses. Again, they're not going to count the A that the student got in PE or the A that the student got in keyboarding. They're looking at the 4 core courses plus some academic electives. The basic guideline is at the end of the junior year, the student starts to apply for the NCAA clearinghouse. They will ask Parchment and the high school to send a copy of their transcript to NCAA. That allows them to tell coaches that this student is eligible to be recruited, this student is eligible to be offered official visits. There is an $80 fee for registration into the NCAA clearinghouse, but if your student has used an ACT or SAT fee waiver, that $80 fee can be waived. See your school counseling department. I'm the NCAA liaison here at Lansdowne, so if you have any questions, the big thing is, as your students in the 9th, 10th, and 11th, 12th grade, when they start to select their courses, they need to be picking courses that, if they want to go NCAA, that the NCAA will accept. 16 core courses.